Hello everyone, in today's video we will be covering a weapon that up until recently was my most used melee weapon in Warframe. It has been, of course, replaced by another one, but this weapon is 9 years old and is still holding its own inside of Warframe in 2022, 2023, whatever you want to call it. It is, of course, the Orthos Prime. I'm your lovely host, the Gaming Weasel, and let's get straight into this. This weapon is one of the examples that not all weapons do get power crept. Well, this weapon did, it didn't get power crept as much as I thought it would. Now, the best source that I have that this weapon is 9 years old is basically YouTube. I have been searching everywhere on the wiki, and just everywhere in general, to see how old this weapon actually is. It is very old, I know that much, but the last video, I guess the first video I ever uploaded on this weapon was 9 years ago, so I'm going off of that. Now, let's go and cover the stats, the base stats. Of course, it has a 3 meters range, it has 70% slash bias, so it has 163.8 slash out of the total of 234. It has an attack speed of 1.17, a crit chance of 24%, a crit multiplier of 2.2 times, and a status chance of 36%. Stats seem honestly very good. The stats are not bad at all. Now, the slam attack has an interesting feature. It does blast damage in guaranteed impact proc, so that is quite cool, I guess. Now, the build in the gameplay is, of course, going to be using the Revenant Warframe and using the Epitaph. Now, the gameplay is, of course, a survival mod inside of the Steel Path. Of course, this weapon needs to go into Steel Path to be tested out. Keep in mind, I do use the Nermon Focus School with Power Spike, allowing my combo to decay instead of disappearing, and, of course, avoid levitation as my first ability to allow me to levitate those enemies. Now, this wasn't here 9 years ago, so this definitely does benefit the weapon itself. Now, another thing, of course, priming your enemies with the Epitaph, Kuvanu Core, whatever weapon you want to use. The build looks like this for the Epitaph. It's pretty plain and simple. You can change it out however you like to. I just personally like how this works out. I like how to use it. It's pretty cool, but you can definitely do you. Now, the Orthos build looks like this. The Orthos build has been changed over the years, of course, because around 70% of these mods were not here back then. We have Condition Overload Blood Rush, Primed Fury, Drifting Contact, Prime Fever Strike, and of course Vicious Frost to give us Viral, Organ Shatter for critical damage, and Volcanic Edge for fire damage. Now, keep in mind, you can change up a lot of things here. Instead of Prime Fury, Berserker Fury, instead of Drifting Contact, a Bane or mod, or I think Bane mods, yeah. And instead of Volcanic Edge, you can, for example, put, I don't know, a range mod, because even with this weapon, the range is really good at 3 meters, but with primed reach, you can increase it to 5.5. Of course, the prime mods were definitely not here back then, neither were Condition Overload or Blood Rush, so basically we're stuck with Pressure Point and Fury and stuff like that, but nowadays you can make this weapon very good. Now, on my Revenant, I basically have nothing that influences the weapon's damage. No arcanes, no Warframe abilities other than Roar. I do use it, I think, 2 times in the gameplay, or 3 times, just keep that in mind. No Panzer Wolfpfeiler, no nothing, keeping it somewhat, I guess, reminiscing on the olden days, but basically, giving a little bit of a modern twist on it. Now, let's talk performance and why what is my most used weapon. Now, it was my most used weapon because this was basically my first prime weapon. It has amazing reach, base stats are amazing as well. It is a great weapon in general, and that's why I used it, for the longest time. How does it fare inside a Steel Path? Well, it fares pretty decent in my honest opinion. Would I say it's the best polearm? Definitely not. The Guandao takes that for sure in my honest opinion. But this weapon is still pretty goddamn good. It still holds its own inside a Steel Path. Definitely wouldn't take it on a level cap mission for sure. But maybe against Infested, maybe against Grineer and Corrupted, yeah, sure, I'll use the Orthos Prime as sort of like a callback to the good old days. Now, nonetheless, to be honest with you, as I said, not the most power crept weapon inside of Warframe. Not the most power crept anything inside of any game. It is pretty decent. The stats are pretty newish as well. With Warframe Melee 2.0 and 3.0, everything has been updated a little bit, so you know, this weapon still holds its own. In my honest opinion, I'm really glad to see that it wasn't nerfed to oblivion, or it was just, I guess, outshadowed by better weapons, even though it is a little bit, but it's not completely useless. I am very happy to see that, and I'm very happy if you guys could leave a like, a comment, and do subscribe for more content. You can become a member as well, and basically that was the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do all that, and I will see you guys on the next one. The Gaming Weasel over and out.